everything changed. And I didn't know if it was from the standpoint that I was leaving my son in New York, that had never been to New York before, and I was leaving because I had meetings in New Jersey for 2 days. And I was so overwhelmed that I ran back into my hotel suite, and I tried to call downstairs to tell him to wait a moment. I needed to speak with him before he left. And of course, he had gotten off that elevator and crossed over to another elevator where he get on when he pick up his luggage. So I wasn't able to stop him. And this was a feeling that I never had before, and I didn't know what to make of it. And they called me from downstairs and said, Mr. JWesley, we're sorry, we missed your son. We didn't have a chance to give him the message. So I ended up sitting in the living room, not knowing what to do, not knowing if I should leave a message on the telephone when they called me, not wanting him to panic. And the phone rang, and they told me what time the car would pick me up to go to New Jersey for 2 days of meeting. And I still couldn't shake this feeling. And as the car picked me up, as we were halfway to New Jersey, I asked him to take me to the nearest airport. And I flew to Nashville. And I shared with my sister who's sitting here that it was like God was trying to tell me something. So we got up early the next morning, about 6 o'clock. Went to my mom's house, and she wasn't feeling so well. And we decided to bring her back to Nashville. And the end result was that day while she was with us, she had her down. And to make a long story short, God is so good. He was with us. He knew that we were a family that needed more wisdom, that needed more guidance, that needed a lot more devotion, and we needed to learn to give devotion. So he kept her around for us a little longer. And she is my miracle case. She has 6 bypasses. She made medical history. She's now bossing my whole household. And she also marked something in the Bible for me before I left that she wanted me to speak on. And of course, I couldn't find it while I was away. So that means I'll have to come back again. And find the passage that my mother wanted me to speak about. But she said that she would accept devotion today, being devoted to one. That, to me, is one of the most important aspects of family. Being devoted to one family. Being able to share with one another. Being able to be there at all times. And we have always done that from the standpoint of our early teachings from my mother. Being able to say that you are a child of God. And I still have to take her to Clarksville every Sunday to church. But we're grateful that you're here today with us, Mother. From the standpoint of school, there's another devotion to our young people, to the youth of America. The most important resource that we have is the youth of America. This is an area you remember, or you can remember when people would talk, or adults would talk, and we were a little younger, and you would see Johnny. We would just use the name Johnny, just a name that's hypothetical. And as a little boy, when it's church time, or when it's school time, or when it's play time, or when it's quiet time, Johnny was always doing something that he wasn't supposed to do. So what we did was say, that's all right, Johnny. You know, Johnny's always been an active child. He's always been really different. And we sat him down about 4 or 5 times, and we never reprimanded Johnny. Then Johnny becomes a teenager, and then he's in stores and he's taking things, and they said, well, you know, Johnny never did act you was a little boy. And we never thought about the discipline. We never thought about bringing Johnny to church. And if Johnny becomes an adolescent, a teenager, he's in juvenile. And then we say, you know, I knew there was something. I knew Johnny wasn't going to be any good. But if we didn't have the time and devotion to stay with Johnny, to tell Johnny right from wrong, to let him know that he was loved, to let him know that someone cared about him and his family and his people that you're surrounded by. We all are an obligation to our students, to our children, to their programs. All we have to do is just look back and think about what happened and what we saw with our young people on television in Los Angeles. There is a breakdown someplace. And it basically starts with family, with love, with devotion, and with caring. Community. We all have to sacrifice for our community. I can remember a young girl in Nashville, Tennessee, growing up in a community that is full of love, that if I did something while my parents were away, my neighbor spanked me, and if my neighbor spanked me, that meant I got 3 other spankings by the time my parents got home. And they didn't ask the neighbors, what did I do? They knew that I had done something terribly wrong.